Hello and Merry Christmas Eve. Wow, I was just kind of yapping with my mic muted. My bad. My bad. I have been working very hard all day long, all of yesterday. It will be a late night for me. I know that. I have a couple things I still want to finish, one of them being a hat for my dad. So I have a few rows left to do, not a few, that is a giant understatement. I'll then need to stitch it, cinch it, and then make a pom for the top of it. I need to pull out the scarf that I've completed for my relative and add some little white poms to it. I need to do so much. Anyways, one thing I did want to share though, I finished and mailed out a project yesterday. So I am just going to share that with you quickly here. I just wanted to show you real quick. So I finished the flail. It's incredible. I'm so happy. But yeah, that's all this is. So I just want to take a quick video because I literally finished that last night and then I had to wake up and mail it. So it is not here with me anymore and I'm kind of sad. I kind of maybe need to make myself one, and I'm going to be, sorry, I can hear people talking outside with the window. Anyways, so I want to make sure no one was like, shut the fuck up. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make myself one. I'm definitely going to make one for my little brother, but I am super stoked to have completed this project. I love how it turned out. I redid the chain on it. I wonder if I didn't upload all the pictures that I had, to be so honest, because like I thought it was too much. Let me see. Yeah, so I redid that chain last night. It was a different one, and then when I picked it all up, when I like held it up, the original one stretched really far, and it was just not a good look, and it just didn't feel super like tight, very stable. So yeah, this was finished last night. I am very proud. I sent it to just about everyone but my sister, who the gift is for. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil it. But I was very pleased. Like my dad was like, "This is freaking awesome," and it just felt really good to like. I think I just put a lot on myself for it, and then I had my dad sent it. He's in like all these Renaissance groups because he's really big into that. But he reached out and he was like, hey, someone is interested in maybe getting one for their nephew. And I was like, look, I gotta kind of like tweak the dimensions, because I'm not gonna lie, the ball itself could have been smaller, could have been a little bit smaller, I'm not gonna lie. The handle was very how to word this nicely. The handle's a bit flaccid. It doesn't have a lot of structure. The original like mock-up that I found of it, they used like straight up, they were using like a fucking wooden dowel inside the handle. And I was just like, I don't want to give someone a fucking weapon. There's a better look of the handle. Like, it does, yeah, and it feels kind of flaccid. But it works, you know? I was giving it some good swings, and I was really testing it out. I was like, we are going to make sure this is solid. I was pulling. I was just kind of like making sure all my stitches were secure and everything. So, yes, and it was very nice. Like, the guys at the post office, they were like, what? And several like women came up, and it was cool. It was dope, you know, and it feels good because I got to make that. Like, yes, I made it. Anyways, so we're going to keep working away at this hat. My hands feel awful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the cramps are cramping. They're getting tight, and I am not gonna put on those stupid crochet gloves, the fucking fingerless bullshit. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they have their purpose, and I know carpal tunnel, like, no one wants that shit. I get it. I'm just overdoing it, okay? I don't have any issue. I'm just overdoing it because it's the holiday, because I want to get these done. But yeah, so my fingers do hurt. I'm not gonna lie. So let's take a look at some shit here, all right? I have been putting stuff. I want to call it what it is. It's kind of garbage, actually. Here we go again. But you know, I've been putting some videos away, you know, some watch later. So let's take a look here. And really, I just want to turn some stuff on and then get to work, you know, like, respectfully. I definitely want to get stuff like this done. I don't have as much done as I wanted to. My little brother told me for Christmas he wanted prank stuff. And I'm like, what is prank stuff? And my mom looks at me and she goes, oh, like a whoopee cushion? And I'm like, bitch, it is 2024, the cusp of 2025. If you think I'm going to give a teenage boy a whoopee cushion, it's just not up to snuff, and we all know it. All right, I don't know what the fuck he means by prank stuff, but I'm pretty sure if I gave him a whoopee cushion, he'd just look at me like I had two heads. So I'm actually going to just grab her in a box. I'm going to duct tape it closed. I'm going to put a bunch of yarn in it, just scraps and bullshit, maybe some garbage even, and then I'm going to duct tape it and give it to him as a Christmas gift. Because, you know, what's better than getting nothing? So, I don't know. And then I'll probably take him, like, this weekend to the store. Because I'm making him a sweater, but it's not done yet. And honestly, though, like, bro, prank stuff, be so fucking for real. What does that even mean? If you're not going to help me, you know, if you're not going to be helpful, what are you? So, I got to figure it out. But if anything, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how long that... I think the balloon dog did take me a couple days. All these patterns where they're like, oh, a 30-minute hat. Is the 30-minute hat in the room with us? Is it 30 minutes on one of those looms that you just kind of crank and it weaves it itself? That would maybe be 30 minutes. But I'm sorry, honey. Ain't nothing 30 minutes. Ain't nothing 30 minutes happening here. And I feel like you're full of shit. Because I was talking to my mom, and I'm like, y'all, like, they gotta be going just ape shit to get it done that quickly. And I don't know, it just feels weird. Like, I guess if I ever saw that IRL, I would just kind of be like, neat. I don't have anything for that. Anyways, I just think you shouldn't promise bullshit times, because ain't no fucking way. And then they have the nerve to call it like easy peasy. Go fuck yourself. I hate you. I am just so bitter about how slow I am to crochet. But like, I don't think I'm that slow, to be honest. I think I do pretty well and make pretty good time. But there's just got to be some people out here who are just insane. It's gotta be. I don't know. Or I'm just being gaslit at every opportunity. So let's take a look here. I'm pretty sure I have a video. So let's see. Let me just get everything cued here. Bear with me. There's just so much stuff up on my screen right now. It's not cute. Oh, I do want that. I do need to put that away. There is also new 90-day fiance stuff, but I pause so much when we're looking at that. I'm not gonna do it tonight, not only between the pausing, but I then have to, I put up like who it is and whatnot, and since I've gotten everything figured out with like the browser that I'm using so I can show you like really brief clips, or at least like show you who we're talking about and like their expressions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's more interactive, and so I'm not getting much crochet done, right? That makes sense. So we will do it. It is coming. All right. I'm back to my normal bullshit after, what is today? Today's Tuesday. I never stream on Wednesdays. So probably Thursday. And by then I'm kind of out of the big grind that I've been in. I have like 2 gifts to do. I have to finish my mom's scarf, which is those heart-shaped granny squares that I was working on forever ago. And then I want to make my friend a pair of gloves because I'm seeing her Sunday. So I want to make her a pair of gloves, and then I'm also going to finally do her ribbon purse. I've had all the supplies for like such a hot minute, and I haven't gotten to it. It's been a lot. But yeah. And next year I'm looking forward to like being more prepared, to having things, you know, really done ahead of time. And I think that'll be terrific. Now that I know I can do a pair of gloves in like a day, you know, that's good, because that'll be easy. And then I want to make one of my relatives, it went viral. It's like this TikTok gingerbread crochet blanket, and it's incredible. It's so cool, and she is a Christmas girly, so I'm like, okay, I can work on that over the year, and yeah, just be way better prepared. I found this one, it's like a winter hat, but it's Viking themed, and here in Minnesota, our football team's the Vikings. My dad's a huge fan, goes to the games, does all of it. He has like a bunch of autographed stuff. He's really into sports like that. So yeah, you know, make him something cool that he could wear to the game where it's Viking themed. I think that would be tight. Or maybe I'll talk to him because he seemed to really dig the Morning Star, so maybe he wants one of those. We'll see. Anyways, but I'll be more prepared. This is my first year ever crocheting. I didn't learn until just this summer, and so I've kind of like been running with it, and I think I'm going to get better at planning. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking a little bit, or at least like talking about kind of nothing, because I'm just kind of rambling at you. I just have a lot of thoughts today. Oh my gosh. I'm just happy to give my hands a fucking minute between I'm doing laundry and like chores between the crochet, and just I have too much on my plate right now. So let's get going. Let's check this out here. So this is the Lily Orchard, a rabbit hole of depravity, from JOON the King. Makes incredible deep dives. All of their shit, most of their shit is like at least an hour. So let's fucking go. Let's go, you know?
728,789. This is the number of words contained in the entire Stockholm series. A work that's contents are so severe, so indescribably concentrated in gratifying certain illegal activities, that its distribution alone can result in punishment if the perpetrator lives in Canada. And Canadian content creator Lillian Orchard, an attached author of this work, has been archived distributing it.
Right.
Even this pales in comparison to the allegations that are now coming out against Lily.
So this is gonna
from
be
her
like
sister
a beanie
Courtney,
hat.
that graphically details what she claims
really
Lily
happy.
did,
It's gonna, like,
to Patchwork
fold
detailing
up
the extreme art that
little
they
bit.
made for Lily.
It will need to be
There
steamed. It's
exists
kinda
a
stiff.
seemingly endless
But
string
my
of
steamer's
transgressions
right
in the
there.
already highly contentious children's television reviewer space
So-
that Lily exists in. Even Lily has shown to greatly dislike herself.
Ugh, I'm so goddamn sick and tired of being me.
Adding to the confusion is the mystery of her alleged
say that
infamous
sometimes,
alias,
but that's been,
Tara
like,
Callie, her history
really-
as Ballspawn, and an obsession with the Pokemon Gardevoir.
I have
This,
like
without
terrible
exaggeration,
ADHD,
only
and I'll like
scratches
lose
the
my
surface.
phone that's right in
Even
front of
with
me.
Lily constantly scrubbing her history,
stuff like that.
there exists enough in archives to capture
in my
this
own way a
otherwise
lot of the
unbelievable
times.
story that will be assembled in this video.
Let's see. Here we go.
Quote, Ballspawn was born on May 30th, 1992. Having a rough childhood due to bullying and torment at school, he had a mental breakdown at the age of 14 and was sent to the Ray Allen Center on November 28, 2006 for a month.
I do really like this pattern. I'm going to post it in the Discord.
First, this is one of the earliest standing archive entries in
I'm alternating front stitches
Second
and
is
back
the name
stitches,
Ballspawn.
and it's looking
This was
so
her
cool.
online moniker, likely derived from the race of Ball from Dungeons & Dragons, a race more so known for aligning with evil. But this influence was more than likely through Baldur's Gate, which Lily has been known to play, as it also licenses the Dungeons & Dragons IP. Third is this was Lily pre-transition, when her name was Jerry Pete, and as such going forward all quotes or references towards Lily will be read to reflect her currently. The fourth and final point is the specificity of this fanfiction wiki. Despite Lily being relatively unknown at the time, this page goes into extreme detail, but it does so without any sources in the general biography section. Yet many of these assertions have been proven to be true. This means that this was either written by someone who knew Lily well, or this page was written by Lily herself. The page includes insight on Lily, who was 14 at this point, stating that she was sent to 2 different care centers because of severe depression and what comes with it. Things hardly improve from here. Quote, entering the ACT program, Ballspawn became known for her hit series Animal Magnetism. Publishing the first chapter on September 24, 2007, it became a hit due to its originality and questionable content. Using the story, Ballspawn coined the term, quote-unquote, pokephilia, meaning a human who falls in love with a Pokemon.
Oh,
unquote.
fuck no.
Animal Magnetism, an alleged 4-part series, centers around a particular love interest, a Gardevoir, a Pokemon with distinct humanistic traits.
So honestly, it was just the fact that it looks like a girl and she found porn of it.
That was Corny Pete, Lily's sister in stream, providing context
one of the
to Lily's
channels
interest.
I subbed to, they
In Corny's now
just
removed Tumblr,
did
she shared a
a
story of the
video
time a
about,
12-year-old
like,
Lily
furries
downloaded
taking
several
over
illicit
the
images
Pokemon
of that
scene and
Gardevoir from the library.
sexualizing the Pokemon.
Quote, she used to
It's
bring
so
it home
fucking
and
weird.
hide it under the shed outside. I found it all at once. All of it was Gardevoir's spread eagle. I showed our parents because Lily had lied about why she was banned from the library.
Oh,
Unquote.
banned
This
from a
obsession
library?
with Gardevoir is very real.
Come
Never
on.
shaken, always present. What's more, Lily allegedly followed it up with a second series about a half Gardevoir, half human. Then shifted her writing to a Family Guy fanfic known as Whispering Illusion, and then followed it up with Tale of the Valkyrie. The story has not been archived or is difficult to find. But there are reviews that break down key points of interest, like this one, that mention the possibly self-insert character, Matthew Ryder, who falls in love and procreates with the character Meg Griffin. Their child, Jaina, then is described as entering into a relationship with Stewie Griffin, who is a family member. This type of relationship would often be found in Lily's writings. Additionally, the review makes the observation,
like
quote, we believe that the author took this name from the Valkyr, a dark angel creature that appears in World of Warcraft. The fact that the story swaps between Valkyrie and Valkyr on an almost regular basis is further proof of this. Unquote. The distinct Valkyr from World of Warcraft would also play a larger role in tying Lily to her lesser-known aliases. Lily continued to write fan fictions of her favorite media, being Pokemon, Warcraft, Family Guy, and Star Wars. But not all of Lily's interests in media were mainstream, as she was also a notable fan of The Escapist, a sort of web magazine that covered video game and hosted Zero Punctuation, a web series that was one of, if not the largest draw of the website. These videos had a recognizable yellow background with simplistic art and fast-paced narration that also delivered a string of quips that were tied to the equally fast-paced visual gags.
And I hate when I look back on my time with them in Morpurgo and realise that I've just flushed away months of my life that I could have spent writing a best-selling book or raising a child or pounding nails into my face.
Lily's looser ties from the website come from the banned Ballspawn account that at one point stated, quote, I have taken a life in self-defense, unquote. The stronger ties are mentions of the website in understanding its coverage.
This morning I received an email from someone who had gotten into a bit of a video game debate with someone on The Escapist, which already doesn't sound like it's going into pleasant territory because someone had a debate on the internet about video games.
This video originated from the Ballspawn YouTube account created on May 5th, 2009. Though it originated from here, it can no longer be found on Lily's channel current day. But it can be found on Dailymotion that serves to archive some of Lily's original videos as Ballspawn. There are 15 videos in this collection ranging widely in presentation, topic, and the possible date uploaded ranging from circa 2009 all the way to 2014. Even so, this collection, alongside Lily's favorite videos, provide much insight to Lily's choices of content and what possibly influenced it, like enjoying the nostalgia critic as seen in her favorite videos, or Josh Scorcher, also known as the Fiery Joker, who is often mentioned in her videos.
It's like the Fiery Joker episode.
The clearest influence is zero punctuation, as Lily has made videos blatantly in that style.
You should never trust rap stars, Catholics, men with a windowless van, women who shit on classic literature, and your own parents. I think as we grow up, we slowly learn that our parents have no idea what they're doing, and that they're just winging it their whole lives. It's very humbling.
The majority of Lily's interests, as far as content creators go, are in creators that upload satirical critical pieces on media, whether it be movies or video games. Though Lily applies their presentation style, the topics she chooses to cover tend to be highly controversial. Like this video about gun control that includes footage recreated in Gary's mod of a certain school tragedy in the 90s that involved a very specific gun. And for that reason cannot be shown. There's also this video that someone denounces religion, deducing that differences in opinion lead to conflict. Videos like these on serious subjects, even when not approached aggressively, will provoke viewers with largely varying opinions. It is safe to say that Lily was receiving a fair amount of comments disagreeing with her. Even with much softer subjects, such as a video on the platform Steam, was primed with deterrences for pushback that likely received the opposite effect.
Latch onto Valve as much as you want, but do not jump into the comment section to start barking your retorts about why I should use Steam, or all the positives, or whatever else you're going to say to make sure Valve never needs to pay for marketing, because I don't fucking care. Your comments will not be approved, and they will not even be read. You are wasting your time.
It's super fucked up. What is it about that game that's so addictive?
None stand out more than this one.
And I have strong reason to believe this video will divide people, piss people off, and very well lose me more than a few fans.
Shouldn't have gotten rid of mine.
Reason.
I had a good setup too.
Let's talk about incestuous relationship.
A catalyst for this conversation, as Lily claims, came from a parent seeking advice.
Today we're focusing on one particular example, a father who came to me for help regarding his teenage son and daughter.
Why would a father
so
go to you
as if
for
directly
help,
to
though? What are
him
your
for the most part,
qualifications?
much like my mailbag videos.
What Lily claims is that the father's kids in question are 14 and 15 or 1 year apart. Coincidentally, Lily and her lesser-known sister, Courtney, are also 1 year apart.
Oh, my sister
As
and I
for
are
the
a
video,
year apart.
Lily disregards judging it based off morality because Lily disregards the general concept of
so it doesn't
morality.
fucking matter.
There's no such thing as objective and absolute morality. Even murder, the one thing we all agree is a horrible thing, is considered to be alright to do in the most extreme of cases.
Only
So I've
when
never
it's a
bought the
CEO.
idea that anything can be morally right or wrong.
This goes on for an additional minute, where nothing is effectively added to the argument.
As for my help, you're obviously asking whether you should approve or disapprove. I hate to tell you this,
Why
sir, but
would they be
it's
asking
not
for
your
your
place
help
to do
though?
either.
Like, what qualifies
What you have to do is decide whether or not you could accept this about them.
As a whole, Lily's videos are angry, distracted, and uninsightful. But there is another element. This video in particular is being brought forward through the guise of a question proposed by an unidentified parent. The likelihood of a parent approaching a teenage YouTuber for advice for this very unique, highly sensitive problem is not very high.
And then I go to the back
Lily
stitches
has
and
also
I
written
blow through
stories
it.
gratifying these sort of relationships, such as in Tale of the Valkyrie with Stu Griffin and his nephew. Whether this anonymous parent exists or not, Lily wants to talk about incest in some capacity.
That's so
Another
weird.
yet significantly more direct example of this is her video on mental illness.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Paul Spawn, and welcome to RBI Live. This one on mental illnesses.
This is not so much a video about mental illness, or even just Lily's opinions on mental illness, as she stated in the video. It is more than that.
Let's start by saying that psychiatry is a field I have no respect for. I have no respect for the field of psychiatry. Psychology, yes. Psychiatry, no. There's a hospital. There's a mental health hospital near where I live. It's in Halifax. It's called the IWK Health Center. It's a children's hospital that also handles teenage cases. In January, I went into cardiac arrest after accidentally overdosing on risperidol, which is a medication I take for pervasive developmental disorder.
While Lily denounces psychiatry and tries to drive the video in a more general discussion about the effects of narrowing the treatment of a patient through the diagnosis to then directionless rambling, she goes back to talking about herself. And it becomes apparent that this is a video about her grievances.
I find it's funny how child psychologists can spend years in school learning how to deal with children, but they've never met a child in their life, probably. Probably. Except for when they were children, they've probably never talked to a child in their life. Child psychology is another field I have no respect for, and there's another problem with psychiatry and child psychology. It's all very children specific, and you can never paint two children with the same brush. No, they're like snowflakes. No two children are the same.
Lily, being diagnosed with autism, feels both misunderstood and neglected.
The biggest problem is that it's only for children. All these diagnoses and the symptoms go towards children. So if someone is born in a time where these diagnoses aren't common, if they weren't born in the last 5 or 6 years, they're lost because they're teenagers now and they have no help. That was the problem.
They're not lost. Like, when I was growing up, ADHD was like aggressively
and there was nothing for me because I was a teenager.
Identified in
Everything was for small children.
And because it was hyperactive ADHD. And a lot of
and there was no
young girls got missed. I didn't get diagnosed or treated
when I was in the IWK, I had 5 psychiatrists
recently, this last year.
I never spoke to a single one of them.
Like,
at all. Not a single one of them ever came to speak to me.
Shit happens.
And the whole time I was thinking,
and a lot of women are diagnosed much later.
And they won't even come down and talk to me?
A motive for centering a video about a general topic to then be an explorative piece on her personal experiences could be to get public opinion on herself without explicitly tying it to herself.
Right or wrong ways.
Typically, analysis of these motives would be unfounded.
Either your parents are diligent, or maybe they're not.
A person that has not been proven to exist, yet has eerily similar interests to Lily. As for Lily's ties to Tara, they can be seen at the intro and end credits of her videos. Tara is credited as the director. Other credits include Vomitron, the channel where the music is sourced from. Lily receives credits several different times, sometimes through alter egos. Similarly, the Psychosocialist receives credit through their YouTube handle as an actor and real name as the editor. So even though Tara is the alleged director of the projects, she is never shown. Another important bit about the intro is that it states it is presented by Valkyr Studios. A quick search shows that Lily was likely not using this name in an official capacity, but she did treat it as more than just a garnish. One of them is this blog that is still standing. The most recent post, dated December 25th, 2011, Lily both signs a post as Valkyr Studios and refers to it as a company with Lily as the sole employee. But that was in 2011. In 2013, much changed. On Derby Boru, a sort of image board dedicated to the increasingly popular series My Little Pony, which is a series Lily had become a fan of. What appears to be happening in this discussion is someone posted an image of Lily's Tumblr. Within this image is Lily responding to the claim that feminists are largely not involved in the Brony community by posting the image of its creator, who is a feminist. The second posted comment is Tara Callie responding to the first comment asking if the creator is really a feminist. But then the third comment recognizes that this post originated from Lily and states derisively, quote, "Getting burned by ball spawn is like losing a beauty contest to Steve Buscemi," unquote. This immediately sparked an argument where in the next page, Tara defends Lily, stating she prefers, quote, "rational and non-emotional thinking over everything else," unquote. But there is still a disagreement as a forum member contends Lily's content is full of contradictory nonsense. It gets to the point where Lily as Ballspawn comes in and scolds both Tara and the person she was arguing with, stating, quote, "This is not the place to discuss moral philosophy," unquote. With the cat out of the bag, Lily as Ballspawn goes on a comment spree. This goes on for several pages until an administrator of the website steps in, linking to 9 different commenters, 7 of which are anonymous posters. The other 2 are Ballspawn and Tara. And one additional anon was also linked as it was responsible for posting the initial image kicking off this thread. There are commonalities in all these accounts as pointed out by the administrator. Quote, Tara Callie, Ballspawn, and the BP post supporting Ballspawn are all the same person. And they're getting a nice ban not for participating in one-man circle jerk, but for removing tags that a moderator instructed not to remove twice. Below is my reaction to the remarkable stupidity you've been displaying here," unquote. In an attempt to keep their charade going, one anonymous account states, quote, "There are 8 people in Valkyr Studios, and they all use a VPN for resource exchange, so of course they're going to show up as the same IP," unquote. After the administrator shames Ballspawn once more, they go on to say, quote, "Surprise, we don't just see IPs," unquote, implying that they can see all the posts also came from the same device type. This is yet another reason why Tara Callie is believed to not exist. Lily, in a future Tumblr post, stated in response to the accusations of inventing a person, quote, "Someone used my laptop to shitpost on the internet and I've been getting blamed for it ever since," unquote. As time
Someone
progressed,
used
Lily's
your
excuses
laptop
would
to
become
ship
even less
posts?
believable,
That
and the
sounds,
project she
yeah.
worked on would become
Oh,
ever more
sorry, my
disturbed.
friend took my
In
phone and
2012,
texted
Lily was not
those
only
things
writing
to
a
you.
fanfiction.
I don't
She
know
was
why they
creating
would
a
do
game
that.
with the same name through RPG
Jesus.
Maker, written and published chapter by chapter.
How
It
old
took the
are
majority
we?
of 2012 for the written work to be complete. The story was not notably graphic or perturbing, but it did retain Lily's key influences as the story begins and is centered around the characters of My Little Pony, only to be crossed by a Valkyr. The gist of this is that this Valkyr is a destroyer of perceived dying worlds, even if it's done through genocide, and as such, it kills many ponies before being confronted by one to parley. The Valkyr's name is revealed to be Essentia, a tall female figure with distinct, quote, dark red hair, unquote. Essentia talking to the pony gives her hope, and as such, it reverses its destruction before then going back to its people. Many things happen. The Valkyr is reprimanded for not doing its job, and as such it sides with the ponies, and in the end is redeemed. The important bit, relevant to Lily Orchard, is a character guilty of genocide is redeemed, as will be pertinent in the future. There's also fan art of this work, created by Nintendo Gal 55. But Nintendo Gal 55 is not just a fan of Lily's work, she is a collaborator. The ties through her and Lily are quite direct. On Lily's Tumblr as Ballspawn, on the right-hand side, Nintendo Gal 55 is being undeniably promoted as, quote, part of the team, unquote, alongside Terra Cali. And the Ask Ballspawn Tumblr is also certainly Lily's, as the Tumblr is promoted in archives of Lily's channel, alongside 2 wikis, a DeviantArt, Lily's blog, a TV Tropes page, a merch page, and a Facebook account. In other archives of Lily's channel, Nintendo Gal 55 is again being promoted by Lily. Here, Lily is also promoting 2 of her own additional channels. One that is dedicated to ponies, and the other that is dedicated to gaming. While their catalog of uploads have been wiped, the gaming channel has a singular playlist with a single video of Nintendo Gal 55 playing Doomsday Ascending. She likely got this either directly from Lily or downloaded the demo Lily posted.
Wow, this game has a warning against not safe for work content. That means it's good! At least in the minds of children, anyway.
The game itself, being a demo, is mostly true to Lily's Doomsday Ascending story. It is also confusing to navigate to the point that Nintendo Gal 55, a vocal supporter of Lily, takes issue with it.
Okay, I have to admit, this took me over an hour to get right. I had so many complications it wasn't even funny. So this is now my, I think my 4th time playing it today. That's right. 4th time. Took me over an hour to do, but, completely worth it.
Reviewers not so attached to Lily were not as generous with their criticisms of the game. On EquestriaGaming.net, there exists a review calling the game uninspired and dull, full of inaccessible buildings with open doors, unclear quests, human clothes in pony shops, etc. Quote, this game was bad enough already, but adding pony porn was the last straw. Unquote. For these reasons, the game got a hound grade of 2 out of 10, as seen at the bottom of the review. The reviewer does not speak in exaggeration about the pony porn. This is very much part of the game.
Okay, for this, I decided to see what would happen when I break her. And,
I'm a little nervous. Actually, that won't be big enough.
I had to cut it because I wanted this to be as safe for work as possible.
It is important to note that Lily, at this point in time, was at least 20 years old.
It's gotta be
and all
getting there.
current
Yeah,
and
it's
future
totally
works
getting
will ring
there.
through the mind of an adult.
You know what? If
As
it
for
doesn't
Doomsday
fit
Ascending,
his
if
stupid
select ponies
head,
are approached, the
I'll
player
give it
is
to my
given the
little
option
brother,
to embody
alright?
or
And
break
then
a
he
pony's
won't not
spirit.
have a gift.
The break option can lead
I
to the
do
death
feel
of the
bad,
NPC,
but at the same time,
but
he's not
will
helpful.
also guarantee an option
And
to
I
view
think
a
it's
not
time that we
safe for work
train him
image
that
of
he
the
needs to
pony.
be helpful.
While not available in Nintendo Gal's 55's playthrough of Doomsday Ascending, she did upload a separate video that includes all the graphic imagery completely uncensored and therefore cannot be shown in this video. 2 of the images are exceptionally grievous as they contain a smaller, likely younger pony being preyed upon by a larger and potentially older pony. One scene is of ponies in the shower, and the other one is clearly a sexual act that won't be further described. The most unspeakable commonality between these 2 images is that they are exactly what happens in the fan fiction A Mother's Love, A Daughter's Passion. A piece so offensive, the work aside from select quotes will have to be censored. This is again a story written in the universe of My Little Pony, with character Twilight Sparkle, who is also the main focus of Doomsday Ascending, playing the mother of the filly, Nyx. A filly is a young female horse. And Nyx is a fan creation by fan writer Pen Stroke, who has explicitly requested to not use her character in a sexual setting.
Yikes.
In a story, A Mother's Love, A Daughter's Passion, this request is ignored and is written to gratify crimes of a sexual nature relating to differences in age and the offenders being a family. In the story, the character is described thinking, quote, "It was wrong. It was also sweet."
What is the draw
unquote.
for that kind of
as
shit?
gruesome
That's so
as this
gross.
work is, how does it relate to Lily beyond involving her key interests? These ties are not as direct. The author for this work goes by the alias Alcordiv. This still does not tie it to Lily, but it does tie it to Terra. Recalling how Lily linked her team on her Tumblr, being Nintendo Gal 55 and Terra Cali, we can also use this to verify Terra Cali's Tumblr. There is only one issue. When going to the Terra Cali Tumblr URL, the account seemingly no longer exists, and the Terra Cali Tumblr is not archived except for a single screenshot on Archive Today. Though the archive page itself is largely useless, it is the top of the Archive Today website that is of utmost importance. It shows that the screenshot was from someone trying to archive the Terra Cali Tumblr. But Tumblr itself, when this page was archived in 2015, redirected it to the renamed page, which now sits in its current state as Valorous Vixen. What this all means is that Lily promoted the Terra Cali account on her Tumblr as a team member. This is a direct link. But around 2014, Terra changed her Tumblr name to Valorous Vixen. Both old comments and old redirects prove that these are the same accounts, and why this is important is because Terra took credit for the work. This happened because someone riffed on the story, and the Terra Cali Tumblr account linked the riff and stated, quote, "Putting aside the gratitude of finally having someone point out all the spelling and grammar mistakes I made, this is just hysterical," unquote. This admittance means that Terra Cali is also the user Alcordiv, the alias used to post the original work. Terra's Tumblr reveals much more than just this connection. It also directly links the Terra Derpy Borio account. In a separate post, she admits to using Lily's computer. Yet in all these posts, there is not a single image of her. At most, she describes herself as having, quote, "deep red," unquote, as a natural hair color. And though at this point in around 2013, where Lily has known Terra for about 5 years, no one else has seen her except for Lily. This is all while she claims to have had sexual relations with Lily, all while Lily lived at her parents' trailer. Surely Lily's parents must have seen her if she's interacted with Lily for that long. But she has an excuse for that too. Quote, "I spoke to her brother on Facebook, but I kept away from her parents. I honestly did not want to meet them. They're not nice people," unquote. Even Lily's father, according to Terra, doesn't believe she exists. Quote, "I even heard Lily's own father accuse me of not being real," unquote. This was not very convincing. Considering that Terra is credited as the director of Lily's old videos, she should have been present within Lily's household. But then Terra states she has been screen present, so surely Lily must have an archive of her being on camera in old videos, yet not a single frame of her has been found. What's more, while Terra claims she is the director of these works, she describes the job of an editor. Quote, "So yeah, I'm behind the scenes, I'm the director. I make sure everything is good to go before it's published," unquote. It is safe to say the majority of Terra's posts are about Lily, often complimenting Lily by saying things like, quote, "You're the best person to do it. You're actually intelligent and know how to argue someone's points and not turn it into a mudslinging
You're
match.
actually intelligent." If someone said
unquote.
that to me,
Terra also
it would
makes
be
the connection,
on
quote,
site.
"Am I
We're
like
gonna
a female
fight.
Lily, or
Like,
is
what
Lily
the
like
fuck?
a androgynous me?"
You're
unquote.
surprisingly
And I wouldn't be
articulate.
making
Bitch.
these accusations of this egregious nature if I wasn't for sure.
You see, if there's one thing that anyone who has followed Jerry knows the most about him throughout his entire internet career, it is that he has a deep-seated desire for control.
She does not see people as people. She sees them as things for her to use.
Britt was a viewer turned friend of Lily's.
I met her in 2010. I ended up subscribing to her, watched her for a little bit, ended up sending her a message on YouTube's old personal message system. We started talking back and forth, and eventually moved to Skype, and that's pretty much how we became friends and started talking regularly.
The significance of this is that Britt has screenshotted and later uploaded many of these chats, and not exactly just with Lily.
Lily had referenced Terra Cali in a lot of her videos, like she was credited as being a director. Lily had talked about her before. Tara was allegedly a friend of hers that lived in her neighborhood. And yeah, one day Tara Callie popped up on Facebook and started messaging me.
Britt also uploaded some of the conversations with Tara amounting to 132 screenshots with Tara alone. All in all, these are of a sexual nature, either referencing Tara's experience with Lily or flirting with Britt. The ones of a sexual nature not related to the former category are extremely grotesque and as such cannot be described in detail. These two screenshots are Tara admitting to doing things with a dog. This one is Tara admitting to being into Volcon or the interest in young ponies, which also makes it all the more likely that she did write A Mother's Love, A Daughter's Passion.
Okay, so speaking of fucking horses, so I was talking to my mom about a few things, and I know someone who does leather work, and I don't know if they know that what they made is a kink like that, but they made a pony play mask. It's very nice, it's very high quality, but I ended up having to explain to my mom what the pony play is, and like I had to let her know that, hey, some people want to fuck horses apparently and want horses to fuck them, and I told her about Mr. Hands, and I was like, yeah, I think in high school I watched that video, and I was like, and she was just looking at me in the passenger seat absolutely fucking horrified at what I'm telling her, and she was just like, I don't know. I was just like, yeah, no, some people, you know, they're just out there with their dongs out and shit, and some people are into it. They're like, damn. But anyways, sorry, just a quick tangent, since it was the whole, why a foal though? Why a foal? That's weird. I don't know. That seems interesting and not in a good way.
Where Tara is trying to convince Britt to get sexual with Lily. This was a problem for a litany of issues.
Yeah, when me and Lily knew each other, she was fully identifying as a cisgender man.
What? You don't need to be fucking no little baby.
Lesbian.
Lily was quite aware of this.
Yeah, that was like the main point of contention between us. So she kept trying to use any means possible to try and convince me to be sexual with her.
Yuck.
Despite the fact that I'm gay.
Tara at the time was bisexual and shared her experiences with Lily, but then admitted those were lies. Regardless, Tara identifying as a woman was more forward in her approach to Britt than Lily was. She even sent her pictures, but these pictures were not of Tara, and were traced back to a model. It is also important to mention that apparently this was Tara Callie's profile picture, but that was soon likely changed as the image was also traced back to an easily found image on Google. The facts are that no one beyond Lily has seen Tara. Tara is a liar, a predator, a criminal, and her story gets ever more unbelievable, especially the one of her origin.
Yikes.
Yeah, the story was she ran away from California because she got kicked out of her parents' home because her parents caught her essentially her younger 15-year-old sister.
What the fuck?
And at some point, the 15-year-old sister also tried to run away from California to Canada and froze to death.
Even though Tara is an unfathomably disturbed individual, she somehow secured a job working for the government. On her Tumblr, she describes this job as just printing out papers and being a lackey pertaining to securing passports. She also told Britt that she makes $130,000 a year from this job.
Bullshit.
Everything about Tara made Britt suspicious.
Like, I kept trying to get any sort of concrete evidence that Tara was a real person.
That's like what a congresswoman who's missing for 6 months
would refuse
makes.
to send voice
and doesn't do a
notes.
job
She
for half a year
refused
and
to
is
get on voice
later
calls.
found to
She
be in a
refused to get
nursing
on
home.
cam. And it was always,
God bless the USA.
oh, my vocal cords are damaged. Oh, I'm afraid that creepy people will record me. Oh, I'm afraid that if I get on camera, I'm gonna get sexually harassed. It was always some kind of excuse, or just a flat-out no.
The ruse was up. Virtually anyone who interacted with Tara did not believe they were a real person. And so, in late 2014, Tara was pronounced dead because she got into a car accident. But not really, because she came back to state, quote, "Idiot doctor pronounced me dead at the scene and started sending out notifications to my emergency contacts," unquote. Naturally, Lily was her emergency contact.
That is not how that
Tara
works.
got arrested. And not just that, Lily confirms that Tara does have red hair, but is also a 6'3" woman. This is a very distinct height that makes her taller than more than 99% of American women. And this was after CP was allegedly found on her computer. Additionally, the police contacted Lily because she was an emergency contact on Tara's phone, and as such, they asked Lily for a key to Tara's apartment. So instead of enlisting a locksmith, they would have a possible accomplice access the location first. Perhaps now Tara can be contacted and visited, something that in this screenshot Britt wanted to do, only for Lily to fire back and state that Tara has a strict contact list, implying that she likely cannot be found. Lily also states here that she cut all ties with her. And during a trip to the police department to visit Tara, Lily states, quote, "There was one pretty funny moment. I was sitting there in the police department and one little girl, around 8 or 9, came out and sat down next to me. She'd just been questioned about Tara. She asked me, 'Do you know that mean lady in jail?' I said, 'I dated the mean lady.' She laid a hand on my shoulder and said, 'You poor thing, it was like something out of a sitcom.'" Unquote. Lily also states that Tara wanted Lily to visit her in prison, where Lily claims she did, and, quote, "proceeded to beat the ever-loving shit out of her. She spat out blood, and that's all I care about at that point." Unquote. Lily later states that the guards allowed this to happen to quell Britt's suspicions. Lily also claims that in the past, Tara beat her up with a studded belt. She also tells Britt that Tara sent her compromising images of Britt a few days before she got arrested for some reason. It also appears that Valkyrie Studios had lost its director. In the 2015 updated and archived fan Wikia page, there is still more about Valkyrie Studios.
That is
Quote, Ball
all
owns
of that.
a small
all
media company she created under her own name called Valkyrie Studios. Unquote.
No, that was
It's
a full-blown lie. I can tell you exactly what Valkyrie Studios actually
obviously
was
untrue.
and where it started. I was the first quote-unquote member. There was me, her sock puppet Tara Callie, Blake Diamond, and then later Nintendo Gal, but we didn't really do anything together. Like, we were just a group of people that she would talk to and keep separate from each other, and she called us a studio.
Even on the Daily Motion archive, Blake Diamond is seen on a livestream with Lily, even presenting the livestream as the Valkyrie Studio livestream.
I need to ask you to stop doing the implying sentence structure. That comes from 4chan. We do not discuss 4chan in the Valkyrie Studios livestream.
As it so happens, Blake also interacted with Tara Callie, and when Blake decided to stand up to Tara and Lily, they berated Blake, calling him a butt monkey or the butt of the joke. Lily on her own Tumblr states both that Blake is easy to manipulate and verifies that she is a manipulative person. Quote, "Because Blake looks for yes men, and I am most assuredly not it. If you're the kind of person who is easily manipulated, easily driven to hysterics, and embodies the very words of this website and is complacent in your
I'm
family,
trying so
I
hard
am the
not
worst
to only
person
like
be
watch
friend,
Amberlynn
and
read
Blake
content,
is very
but
much
God.
that." Unquote.
She does so
Blake's
much.
wife
She has so
responded
little.
to Lily's attacks by stating, quote, Perhaps Blake doesn't like you because you're a manipulative egomaniac, and most people don't like manipulative egomaniacs." Unquote. Lily discredits Blake by stating Blake declares feminists to be terrorists, something Blake's wife also responded to by disagreeing with Lily.
Feminists
and
are
this was not the last post that
sure.
Blake's wife responded to.
Right.
At this point, Lily, towards Blake's wife, states this, quote, "That's the kind of conversation where if we had been standing in the same room, I would have belted her." Unquote. At the start of 2014, Lily's inner circle through her faux studio included Britt, Nintendo Gal 55, Blake Diamond, and Tara Callie. The latter two are no longer within this circle. While Britt continued her friendship with Lily, Nintendo Gal 55, in a similar position, was also a business partner of sorts. One that would co-author Lily's most infamous work, a series that's combined word count is 728,789. That means, from start to finish, if listening to the words at 150 words per minute, it would take 80 hours and 55 minutes just to get through. Considering its contents, this is one of the least shocking facts. This is none other than the Stockholm series. As of right now, there are 9 archived works. There are also several works that Lily abandoned, meaning that there were more than this. As for the 9 recovered, the longest entry is 239,000 words. The shortest is just shy of 8,000, and appears to be an incomplete rewrite of an entry of the same name.
And
Other
then
works in the series are largely tagged as incomplete, cancelled, or on hiatus.
Somehow.
As for the stories themselves, they are undoubtedly set in the My Little Pony universe. And like Lily's previous stories, her own characters, such as Essentia, make a return. Again being described as having red hair and being so tall it scares people. This is the exact same description of the Essentia character written in Doomsday Ascending. These very distinct descriptions are also the only way Terra Callie has ever been described.
Essentia was one of her self-inserts.
One more?
Yeah, like, she'll deny that, but based on how she's used Essentia over the years, how she talks about her, the fact that she was actually her main World of Warcraft character for a while, the fact that if you were to take how she compares Terra Callie and Essentia side by side, they're basically the same person.
Side note, Lily also uploaded her saved game of Skyrim to Nexus Mods, where she played through the entire game as Essentia. These screenshots of her character are again fitting her canon description. But not all of Lily's characters are derived entirely from fiction. In the first entry of Stockholm, named Stockholm, there is a character named Firebrand. This character, while inherently fictional, is the creation and representation of Josh Scorcher, a creator that Lily looked up to at this point. As for Stockholm, the first entry of the series revolves around the character Rainbow Dash, modified to fit Lily's perversions. The character, though canonically female, now has a penis, is described as intersex, and has an uncontrollable lust for minors. In the story, she approaches Dr. Firebrand about her fantasies.
Ew!
Firebrand then makes the connection that her pedophilia is because she is intersex. The doctor also states, quote, I would recommend that you relax and enjoy your fantasies.
This is some fucking Republican
You'll find that once you do,
bullshit
you'll be feeling less guilty about yourself, and less likely to think you'll do something you'll regret.
You must
think
be
about how
a
you
pedophile.
feel if one of those girls were over and
you're
were
giving
making
them
you
what they
excited.
want.
But you
and
have the
it's
security
awful.
of knowing you can go upstairs and take care of
Christ.
yourself once they've left. You'll feel more relaxed, wouldn't you?
Oh my god.
Unquote.
Oh my god.
It is important to
So,
note.
just side tangent. So with all the 90 Day Fiancé stuff that I watch, right? Faith is a trans woman, and Faith's sister is also a trans woman. So I was at my parents' house, and my mom and I were watching that show. My dad was like not paying attention, but he eventually like popped in, and it was during one of Faith's segments, and I was like, Mom, we should turn this off. Like, we should turn it off. He's gonna say something. He's gonna be like gross. Sure enough, he could not shut the fuck up and just not say anything, because apparently people's genitals are very important to him. But he proceeds, so he only went after Faith's sister. And he did not realize that Faith was a trans woman. And later my mom was kind of like digging, because my mom was like, he was like, oh, almost getting it, but not quite getting it, but still decided to, you know, be a bigot, and rather than shutting the fuck up, which is always an option. And I looked at her and I was like, yeah, because she's pretty. Like, you wouldn't know, because she's pretty. And my mom was just like, oh my God, you're right. And it was just a beautiful moment for me, because I was just like, you're an idiot. Like, you have no idea. And anyways, respectfully, some people should just, like, why does it matter? Does it affect you? No, it doesn't. It literally has zero impact on your life, and you would never know. You would never know, and he would never know. Anyways, sorry, we were talking about it, and this is so fucking funny to me, because yeah, Faith, like, does it up. She takes very good care of herself. She cares a lot about her outward appearance, because she is a trans woman, and she really wants to be undetectable in that way. She's a woman, and she wants to, you know, she doesn't want someone to look at her, and, you know, no woman would. That's the thing. Like, call any random woman a man, she'll be like, what the fuck? Excuse me? But yeah, no, I just love that he didn't clock it. And Faith's sister, granted, doesn't put as much effort in. They're very isolated. They're, you know, very far away, but Faith is very much in, like, the center of the Philippines. So, anyways, I'm done with my rant. Sorry. Back
that
to the
this
good
scene
stuff,
happens
I
after
promise.
Rainbow Dash stole the panties of one of her victims, who was a minor, and then proceeded to pleasure herself to them.
No.
Though these characters are taken from the My Little Pony universe, they are described as human. On top of this, there are endless, highly descriptive sex scenes written to gratify these things. Things like pedophilia and incest. This is not just in Stockholm Actual. It affects every following piece of the Stockholm series. The incest is typically between sisters or a daughter and a mother. There is also an obsession with the age of 14 and 15. Many characters are described as that age or have important events that took place in their life when they were that age. This, like many other themes in Stockholm, is not a coincidence.
Lily has a fixation on the age of 14.
Yuck.
Because you got the whole Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo situation in Stockholm, where Scootaloo was 14. You have the Mod Pie and Pinkie Pie stuff. There was the Rarity and Sweetie Belle in Stockholm.
Virtually all characters within every entry are deeply disturbed individuals. Even the minors are having these thoughts. One of them in the Dash family entry states, quote, "When she's changing or taking a shower or trying to be alone, even when I started crushing on you, I was still spying on my sister. And sometimes I steal her underwear." Unquote. The minor that is saying this had her panties stolen by Rainbow Dash in the first entry of Stockholm, but was allowed to see her while she was institutionalized. In this entry, there's also a different pony YouTuber that Lily looks up to, being Dr. Wolf, who prescribes Rainbow Dash, specifically risperidone, which is an antipsychotic. Something Lily likely became familiar with when she was institutionalized as a teen. Also in the story, Rainbow Dash imagines a younger form of herself, who she initially named Pervy, but then later renamed CL. Initially an imaginary fetish piece, CL manages to slowly and inexplicably turn corporeal. The issue with her turning into a real person is that she will be taken away from Rainbow Dash. Quote, okay. As much as I want to be real, I certainly don't want to be thrown out and kept away from Dash. But still, unquote. This is what Stockholm is. Bizarre, grotesque, and a crime in Canada. First and foremost, a child in this connotation is described as anyone under the age of 18. And as Lily clearly defines them with humanistic traits, they are, quote, visual works of the imagination, unquote. And even imaginary, this kind of writing is not exactly illegal. It becomes illegal when distributed. And by her own words, through her distributing it, it contains, quote, scenes of violence, sexual content, depictions of domestic abuse, depictions of mental illness, depictions of ephebophilia, mentions of redacted, an incorrect depiction of an intersex person, negative depictions of the field of psychiatry, depictions of toxic relationships, and other such objectionable content, unquote. Here Lily is again admitting to writing the work, apologizing for how she framed intersex individuals. But as her work was discovered and criticized, she sought to distance herself from it.
Her narrative for that has changed quite a bit. Like, she went from, like, at first she was proud she wrote it, she would post about it on her Tumblr, she would talk to me about it in DMs. She set up a whole separate Tumblr specifically for it, and then she went from, oh, I did write it, but other people edited in the graphic scenes involving underage characters, and the blame for that would shift from, oh, it was 4chan, oh, it was Josh Scorcher, oh, it was Bronies being mad at me, oh, it was Nintendo Gal. It was like she didn't write it, she didn't write the sex scenes, other people did, and whoever did would change based on whoever she was trying to throw under the bus at the time.
Though Lily did write Stockholm, it is also true that she wasn't its only author. Nintendo Gal 55 co-wrote the works. The Stockholm series seems to have ranged from 2014 to 2015. Throughout this time period, Nintendo Gal 55 was quite expressive in how the writing was affecting her. In just late 2013, she, responding to a question asking if she liked Volcon, stated, quote, "That's a personal no-no for me. If other people like it, that's fine. It's not exactly illegal as
it's
redacted,
not fine. If you like that shit, get the fuck away from me."
Unquote. But in the coming months, she had a change of heart because she took part in writing Stockholm.
Pedophilia isn't for me, but if it's your thing, who might have judged? Like,
you're talking to the gal who managed to convince her that writing Twilight as a redacted and Rainbow Dash as a redacted would have been a good idea. I think I can manage this. Unquote. Nintendo Gal 55 in a different post expresses the turmoil of writing the story. Quote, "It involves the CMC, and it was so awful. I would read all of my original fanfics from 10 years ago, then ever write or read that again. I didn't just hate how the scene became. I felt physically uncomfortable reading it and writing it.
Yeah,
it wasn't just uncomfortable, it was painful.
About it.
All throughout Stockholm, the worst I ever felt was
June,
sad.
doing the
Now
work.
sad, I can handle that perfectly fine. Even the descriptions of the domestic abuse, while unnerving, weren't graphically written and didn't affect me that badly. Yes, Essentia terrified me in the story, but I can also handle fear. But physical discomfort from writing/reading something so terribly uncomfortable and painful? No way. I was honestly on the verge of tears. Thankfully, Ballspawn understood and offered that we make it less like that. It turned out so much better after that. I am forever thankful for her compassion and letting us redo that scene. Heart." Unquote. Nintendo Gal 55 can now hardly be found, and that appears to be intentional.
I tried to reach out to her once, and I don't think she wants anything to do with any of this anymore. Like, I know she was incredibly uncomfortable to the point of having emotional breakdowns when she was dealing with Lily's shit. Like, Lily manipulated and coerced her into helping her with it.
Still, in 2015, Lily would stop writing Stockholm entries due to the immense amount of criticism she was getting. Quote, "No, the fun of this whole series is gone. This isn't one person. I've had to deal with these paranoid, delusional little liars for almost 2 years, and despite my best efforts to purge them from my view, it still gets through." Unquote. She was also, as per this ask, accused of being a pedo. Not for Stockholm, though that was likely happening, but because of Fire Rose. Shipping is essentially creating the portmanteau of a desired couple's name, and as such, the unwilling participants are encouraged to be in a relationship as done by the action. And so, in this case, a 23-year-old Josh Scorcher, represented through his character Fire Brand, was being shipped with the 17-year-old content creator Ink Rose, hence Fire Rose. In her post, Lily was making the argument that Ink Rose was over the age of consent in 3/4 of America, and allegedly they did go on a date.
Alright.
I think Josh and Ink ended up, like, going out to get food or something one time, and immediately realized how weird it was and never did it again.
A reason Lily was shipping these two was because they were both politically right-leaning. And at some point she began editing videos with Josh Scorcher, someone who she's been watching for several years now, and someone who she had a crush on. As for Britt's correspondence with Lily, quote, "Brit, because of your raging crush on Anakin and your possible little crush on Josh," unquote. Lily responds, quote, "In the case of Anakin, that was just me fanboying. In the case of Josh, yeah, you're right," unquote. As established, Lily was quite promiscuous. But how severe was it?
Based on the TV Tropes character page she made of my character that she would insert into her rather vocalized Illusion comics back in the day, she was fully aware of it.
Quote, "belligerent sexual tension. One-sided in Paul's case." Unquote.
But then suddenly she was friends with
It doesn't look big enough. I'm not gonna lie. It looks small.
Wait, who's the second lesbian?
I'm so scared.
Lily was also pursuing Nintendo Gal 55, even though she's lesbian, and Lily was still publicly identifying as a cis-straight male. Even Blake was getting this treatment. This is his testimony found on 8chan, also in 2015. Quote, "Be me, young and stupid RBI fan eager to be noticed, chatting with quote-unquote terror one night. Quote-unquote, she convinces me through repeated refusal to drop the subject that I have a crush on Lily. Never mind the fact that back then I was gay for any male that wasn't explicitly hetero, except for Paris Hilton, because that redacted can burn in hell. Proceeds to keep me up with unwanted roleplay of fucking Lily. Cut to October 2013. Be me. Just answered a confession on the RBI fan blog. Lily bitches and moans about money troubles. I suggest hand-whoring to her fans. She asked if I want to be attached to that. I awkwardly try to dodge, saying yes or no. She pursues and eventually breaks me down. I awkwardly wait for her to take her shirt off, or whatever. Get saved by Ethan and his family. 1 week later, be me. Just got home from work. Watch the rest of Lily and Ethan's Q&A stream. Get into video call with Lily to talk about said Q&A. Somehow she gets it in her head that I want her to strip. She proceeds to take her shirt off and refuses to let me turn on my camera to show my disgust. Sit in awkward confusion before she attempts to take her pants off too. Gets saved by mom coming in. Thank the emperor. Call ends. Proceed to cry myself to sleep with an awkward boner. Unquote. This was posted on 8chan just a day after Lily announced she was discontinuing Stockholm and that she was getting flack from shipping Fire Rose. And though 8chan post tend to not be the most reliable, Blake would later give his testimony in video form. Lily at this point was either sexually pursuing, sexually interested in, or right out online dating virtually everyone she was in contact with. From the manipulation through Tara Callie, the shipping of Fire Rose, and her unwelcome promiscuity, the internet was turning on Lily like never before. As such, paranoia made its way in, and she began a pattern of removing and re-adding her friends, likely as an attempt to test her loyalty.
She'd delete me on everything, and then she'd add me back, and then she'd delete me, she'd add me back. And that happened a few times, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with her. I started getting really tired of it, because I felt like she was treating me like I was disposable, pretty much.
During this time, Lily was talking about getting rid of 8 bags of garbage, allegedly influenced by a nervous breakdown. But Britt had grown tired of it all. They would often fight on Skype until Britt pulled the plug. On top of this, Lily was starting to publicly transition into Lily, which brought on even more turmoil. The silver lining is that most of the conflict was kept private, or at least not so public, like the Skype messages with Brittany. The 8chan post with Blake, even Stockholm wasn't well known, and neither was Tara Callie or what she represented. But that was 2015. In 2016, save for the Skype and Facebook messages with Brittany, this silver lining was stripped and Lily had come apart at the seams, reformed now into Patch after conflicted Patch. Some disregarding her as a hate monger. Others cloaked in her anger and vitriol, convinced in her passion alone. This was brought on by her falling out with Josh Scorcher. It is difficult to state how much Josh really meant to Lily. He is a content creator that she admired so much that not only did she write him into Stockholm as a counselor that encouraged wild acts, she also admitted to having a crush on him. Lily was dedicated so much to him that she wormed her way into becoming an editor of his. This came to a head on June 4, 2016, when Josh Scorcher on Tumblr stated, quote, "That feeling when you finally realize you're in an emotionally abusive relationship. That feeling when you realize that you can't break it off because of business reasons and you just have to suck it up." Unquote. In a second post responding to the worry of his audience, Josh Scorcher stated, quote, "It's nothing life-threateningly serious. Sorry if I scared you. Just realized a friend hasn't really treated me like a friend should." Unquote. On a third post, Josh clarifies that he cut ties with this person and they are not going to be affecting future projects. And in a fourth and final post, still on the same day, Josh clarifies that he won't be revealing who this person was, likely to avoid conflict. That's when Lily replies to this, quote, "It was me. I have been increasingly passive-aggressive towards Josh, dismissing his opinions and being increasingly short-tempered with him as time has gone on, treating discussions with him that had any degree of seriousness with the same disregard and callousness as I would have ran a YouTube comment. And Josh was far more patient with me than I had ever been with him. I have been a very poor friend to Josh over the last few years, and Josh deserved far better than this. I am truly sorry." Unquote. This is a well-mannered response where Lily admits to her wrongdoings and apologizes without any direct pressure applied. But even the good nature of it could not fix her friendship with Josh. And to this, not only did she begin hating Josh, she also began to despise his identity. While Lily always had a disdain for the political right, it was mostly aimed at Donald Trump, as it was an election year. But then after her falling out with Josh Scorcher and after the Orlando shooting in June 2016, Lily made innumerable posts mostly supporting gun control, but also some targeted towards Christians. It is no secret that Josh Scorcher is also a right-leaning Christian. Lily knew how excessive her postings had become and stated, quote, "I'm probably going to be raging about the delusional twats of the Republican Party for a while. So if you find that exhausting, add the tag, quote, fuck conservatives, unquote, to the blacklist of whatever extension you're using. I will do my best to make sure each post is tagged," unquote. Lily then responded to the claims of her being part of the radical left as, quote, "Those claims come from people who are planning to vote Republican. So if they think I'm radical, good.
The left is too busy eating itself to be radical.
Finally, on June 19th, Lily tied this back to Josh Scorcher when asked,
like,
quote,
"You're not as left as I am. I'm more left than you are."
Gun control. What an absolute fool, unquote. Lily responded, quote, "You think that if you can so easily predict how people are going to react to the bullshit that comes out of your mouth, that might cause you to step back and re-examine your outlook on the world. But stroking a massive persecution complex works great too, I guess. I had Josh in my Skype contacts for 2 years. This doesn't surprise me as much as you might think it does." Unquote. Lily then amended the question by stating that Josh Scorcher never said the U.S. doesn't need gun control.
About it. Like, she will rage about it for days on end. If it's a specific person, she will rage about them for years on end.
That's
so
insane.
I think her sudden raging hatred for Republicans and Josh in general was way more personal because she had a crush on him and he fired her.
Quote, "If you are wealthy, white, straight, and a man, and you must be all four of those, then the Republicans are trying to kill you.
He doesn't respect you as a human being, and he probably doesn't think you should have rights."
Responding to why she suddenly loathes the right so much. She claims it was the Orlando shooting. But Lily was also equally ranting about Josh Scorcher with a passion, even framing her firing by Josh Scorcher as her decision
Imagine
to leave.
someone being like,
Quote,
"Look,
Josh
honey, I
wanted to
love
say
you. I
something in
just
a video that was widely
don't
racist,
think you
and
have
I
a
wouldn't
right
let him
to what
because,
happens to
quote
your
unquote,
body."
editing was literally my job.
We gotta fix
Unquote.
that.
This was a post
don't
in
think
early
that you
July,
should
and posts
be
likely
able to
continued
vote
well into the
or
month.
leave the
This
house
time
without
at
my
Eagles,
permission.
the right-leaning greater she shipped Josh
The right is
Quote,
insane.
"She's just another far-right conservative with a persecution complex, stamping her feet at the fact that the world is changing around her. Shoulder check her out of the way and she'll keep moving. She'll either grow up of her own volition, or reality will force her to grow up." Unquote. Lily, still in July, states she is unsure what the catalyst was for her falling out with Josh Scorcher, but does say, quote, "I often get called petty, vindictive, or even abusive by people who don't know what abusive means. Because I'm less than 100% polite and capitulating. Because I don't tell someone their beliefs are 100% grounded in reality when they clearly aren't. But the kind of behavior I mentioned above is something I find particularly scummy. I can't read subtle, nonverbal communication, especially not over the internet."
It's getting all frayed.
September marked the third month of her aggression towards Josh and his friends, now stating that Ink Rose was homophobic. So now Lily was requesting her audience harass her by, quote, "beat a troll by trolling harder. Commission or draw artwork of her and KP, or any other woman for that matter, in very romantic situations. Put it on DeviantArt and make sure her icon is in the description so she gets notified every time. And when she tells you to stop, just keep going. Quote, how about I do anyway, unquote. Eventually she'll explode and take off a very thin veil that isn't fooling anybody. Or she'll stop mouthing off about shipping like such a baby,
That's not cool.
Unquote. Side note, on the same day, she answered a question about the moral implications of incest and states that in fiction, the negatives of it can be mitigated like the deformities in offspring because, quote, when you're in the position of God, there isn't a single issue you can't argue your way out of, unquote. Still in September, Lily claimed Josh, quote, like to spew a neo-reactionary manifesto to me in private chats, unquote. A few days later, she was now starting to believe that Ink Rose is so homophobic that she is actually gay herself. Lily was not doing well, as she was claiming that in this post her caffeine addiction had gone so bad, she apparently only had 2 years to live. Then, Lily in October continued her tirades on Josh Scorcher, escalating this one-sided campaign to the point where she made a video.
Newbie Dash is an episode I've been trying to talk about in detail for a very long time, but it's an episode that is fundamentally difficult to discuss in a public venue. Because the Wonderbolts draw a lot of parallels to the military, a lot of military bronies hold the episode in high regard because of its supposed accuracy. The most vocal of these people being Joshua Burner, the founder of Fall Equestrienne, known for serving 5 years in the Marine Corps. Then I remembered something important. Mr. Burner wasn't actually in the military, he was in the Marine Corps' band, the ceremonial I'm helping of most military branches.
Lily, as she had done in the past, masked the intent of the video. While initially presented as a breakdown of a My Little Pony episode, this video is largely an attack on Josh Scorcher.
Josh himself used to rant to my face about how college students need to have their opinions challenged. However, when his ignorant worldview was challenged repeatedly, he decried it as emotional abuse. He once complained about the fact that I wouldn't let him compare Spike living with Twilight to self-hating black slaves in the South, despite the fact that this was literally my job that he was paying me to do.
This video then gets into the subjects of bullying and to its most infamous line.
Attitude can fuck off and die in a ditch along with the malignant human cancer that defend it. If you're a child watching this right now and you're being bullied in school, here's what you do. You demand that your bully cease their behavior, and if they refuse, grab the heaviest object you can reliably swing and beat their fucking teeth in.
Besides implying that Josh Scorcher is a malignant cancer, her encouragement of violence was not entirely well received. 8chan were, right after Lily's video on Josh Scorcher released, concerned for his well-being, where Josh Scorcher replied, quote, I see that some of you here are legitimately concerned for my well-being, as well as Ink Roses. I thank you for your concern.
My phone died.
While I can't and won't speak for Ink Rose, I want to say that I'm okay. I can find my...
Oof, we're not even an hour in. Shit. Okay, well, this is apparently going to be a short one. I will see you all on Thursday. I am so sorry. I'm not sure what's going on because it does have a charge. It's just not going to record. But I hope you have a great night and a happy holiday for whatever you celebrate. And then I will make sure that I share this completed hat because I'm about to finish it. It'll be up on the Discord. Wow, I can't talk. It'll be up on the Discord. Please join, share your projects, and have a wonderful rest of your day.